What's going on, guys? The rumors are true. The Archetype John Mayer is finally here from Neural DSP. Today, I am going to go through the interface, show you everything that's included in the plugin, and I also want to play some of the presets to let you hear how it sounds. But spoilers, I think this thing is great, and you're definitely going to want to buy it. There's tons of great gear in here. There's a lot of new stuff for Neural that I'll show you, and let's get into it. All right, guys, so this is the Archetype John Mayer X from Neural DSP, and it is amazing. There's so much cool stuff about it. If you think that this looks a little bit different from a typical Neural DSP plugin, it's because it does. It has something cool and new, at least something that I've never seen them do, which is allowing you to get all three of John's amps at once on the same plugin without having to run, stuff like multiple instances of the plugin. As you can see here, you have your gain, then you have the volume for each of the amps running it just like John would run it, the output, and then you even have something for the room send if you want to hear more of the room. But what I wanted to do first, before we get into all that, is just go to the default preset, and I kind of wanted to show you every single thing that this plugin really entails. So right now, again, you have your traditional things like tuner, MIDI. You even have stuff like a metronome and everything like that if you're going to run it in standalone. I'm running it in Logic here, but let's take a look at the top real quick. Your traditional input, gate, transpose, which always really works well for me. If I don't want to detune my guitar, it works in a snap. The doubler, which is also awesome and makes things sound huge, and then the output knob. So all that's the same. If you notice at the top two, if you use other Neural plugins, you won't see the cab right here because in this mode, at least, you have the cabs and the mic set up just the way John likes it. Of course, this is a combo. This is a half stack, and this is a half stack as well. So you do have access to the cabs. You do have access to, I believe it's 11 mics, stuff like dynamic mics, ribbon mics, condenser mics. But what you have here is the all the amps running at once. So what do we have here? If you click an amp, it kind of shines a spotlight on it right here. So we're running in the default preset. This is the smooth operator amp on the left, kind of like a Fender Vibe Reverb. In the middle here, it is called the Headroom Hero, and this is meant to emulate something like John's Dumble, which is super famous. And then finally, the Signature 83 on the right, which is meant to emulate something like a 2-rock. So these are all the amps and their respective cabs. Again, this default preset is apparently from John himself, according to Neural, and is running effects and amps and cabs all to his liking. So let's kind of jump into what each thing does in the interface, and then we'll kind of, let you listen to each part of it, and then maybe we'll go through a couple of different presets too. Right now, I'm running my Silver Sky on neck pickup. So that's, just the way it is. That's the default preset, a couple chords, a little bit of lead playing. But let's go into what each thing is here. So you have a lot of pedals right now. There's actually some surprises, like I said. What's on from the start is this boost. And because I'm using a Strat style guitar, they meant for this to kind of fatten that up a little bit and maybe hit those amps a little bit harder. You have a clean boost, which is already on. Here's with it off. I mean, that's a dramatic difference. Let's turn it back on. I mean, beefs it up dramatically. And then if you press this here, gives it a little bit of gain as well. So this is great. I feel like I'm going to be using this all the time, especially if I'm going to be using any sort of Strat or Tele into this plugin. I played it a little bit today with the Silver Sky, but it also sounds good with humbucking pickups as well. The second thing we have here is the antelope filter, and I kind of knew, or I thought I knew that the John Mayer plugin was coming because there's been a lot of people talking about it. Yesterday, I saw Rick Beato's video of where he went over to Neural, and one of their engineers was saying that they were modeling a Qtron, and that's kind of what you have here. So this is what that sounds like. And you can change, I mean, there's all sorts of settings here that you can change. I just want to give you a quick idea. Of what it sounds like. That's the antelope filter. Moving on, here we have the Half-Man OD. You might know what this sounds like. This is probably something like a Klon. Give it a little bit more gain. Pretty cool. This pedal here is special, and one thing to point out too is that John typically doesn't like people seeing what he has, I guess, on the pedal board, so they're all blacked out, similar to what he has there. I just think it's really cool. I mean, Neural plugins always look amazing, but I think they did a really fantastic job on this one. This next pedal is called the Teal Breaker because you can see it has a switch here. The first position where it's in green. Simulating, of course, a TS style tube screamer. But the cool thing is that when you click this up, turns blue, turns the whole pedal blue. Changes it more into a blues breaker type pedal, which is really sweet. And then finally, this millipede delay, which is a cool digital delay. Let's turn up the blend a little bit here. A little bit more feedback. Really cool sounding delay. There's a couple different things going on in this plugin for time-based effects. I think I'm going to be using this quite a bit. I am, a fan of reverb, of course, but I also really like using delay to widen my signal. So I feel like I'm going to be using this a ton. So these are all the effects you get, a ton of effects ahead of the amps. Then you have this section, which is the gravity tank. You've actually been hearing some of it already in this default plugin, because we have the spring reverb on. I can turn that off so it's a little bit more dry. Turn it back on for the spring reverb. If you want to make it enormous, the mix is kind of low here, but I mean, it sounds crazy. So that's the gravity tank. That's at least the spring reverb side of it. We'll bring the mix back down here. And then you also have this really awesome harmonic tremolo. Turn the awesome. I mean, like really lush, cool stuff going on there. Then we're back to the amps and the cabs. After that, you have the EQ and the compressor. Cool thing about this is not only do you have a studio EQ, so this is not meant to change what you would do on the actual amps themselves, but this is like an overall, since you're using 3 amps in this 3-in-1 type of situation, you could use this to maybe like, cut some low mids, cut some low end, depending on what you do and don't want to hear. So the cool thing about this is that all of these give you, every sort of EQ from 20 to 20 that you would need with a boost and cut. But then you also have a low cut and you also have a high cut as well that you can use. Really, really helpful for kind of really slotting a guitar into the mix. But what I noticed right away, I didn't know that either of these things were coming to the plugin, but what I noticed right away here too was that you have, I'm a huge fan of the distressor. You have these distressor style knobs here, so you have the distressor being used as well. So why is this cool? Not only do you have all these great amps, all these great effects, but you kind of bring some of that studio element to the plugin as well. So it sounds like that, you're mixing kind of John's live gear and John's studio gear in one plugin, and the distressor is one of my favorites. I mean, tons of people love the distressor. So I think it's really, really cool here. Again, this is the default preset, but you can really even out the transients. Just make sure that because you have all these really dynamic amps, that something like this kind of helps tame them without really influencing the signal in a major way. And then let's look finally at the post effects. So you have another delay here, post delay. Let's see what that sounds like. Let's bring up the mix a little bit. Really cool. I love this delay. Not only can you sync all this stuff to your DAW, but you have stuff here like ping pong, what type of hardness the delay looks like, the mix, how much feedback and delay. You could do tap tempo. This is a really, really cool delay, definitely different than the other one in the chain. And then finally, you also have more studio verb, which you've kind of been hearing as well in this preset, in this default preset. Hall and a plate reverb. I love it. I mean, this is all great sounding stuff. I feel like they really did a great job. Like I said before, Neural's plugins always look amazing. It's right now, I believe it's $199 US. And, to get all of this gear in a plugin, you could run this at home when you're recording. You can run this, on a laptop if you want to bring this live with a cabinet. When I was growing up, if I had something similar to this, having a Dumble or a Two Rock or a Fender Vibroverb, those types of amps for, less than what some, let's say 2 Boss pedals would have cost at that time. It's insane to get this much gear in one plugin. So that's kind of a tour around what the plugin can do. Let's take a quick look here at some of the settings on the presets, and we'll kind of go from there. All right. So not only do you have John Mayer's presets, you have Neural's presets as well. As these are great starting points. One thing I'll say is I wish there was more of John's presets, right? There's only a small list here, but I feel like, if you are already into John Mayer's sound, you can kind of emulate, whatever you're going after with this. Some new artists popping up here that I don't think I've seen before in previous plugins for Neural. You have Mike Dawes, you have Corey Wong, of course, you have even John Petrucci doing stuff here, but we also have this time Joe Satriani doing sounds and presets for this, Joey Landreth, Ariel Posen. I mean, all these kind of make sense, right? Especially Ariel Posen and Joey Landreth have a very, I don't know, similar style. Both like to use two rock amps, both like to use very fancy pedals. So I think that's kind of cool. Eric Krasno, another a great guitarist, Ella Feingold. All these are fantastic. So for our purposes, let's just check out, like, for instance, let's start with the gravity lead. One thing I'll say about this, similar to some other plugins that I'll be doing videos on soon, this one, when you're playing, the way that you play the guitar, the way you emphasize your touch on the guitar, I feel like it has a ton to do with how these amps sound, and it feels to me like playing a real amp. And in this case, this is another one of those presets where we're playing all three at once. Check out some other presets as well. So that was the gravity lead. This one, so the cool thing about this lets you see something new. So when you go to this preset, just plain dumb, it's just the dumble, and then the information for that plugin comes up here, like the front panel of that plugin as well. And now you can see at the top, you have access again to the cab section, which we weren't seeing before. So press that here. And you can see this is using something like a ribbon microphone, like a Royer. And, we have something like a Sennheiser 421 on the right. Pretty cool. That is the preset for the dumble. Here is ultra clean. So let's go back to the amp. So this is also the dumble, but a little bit more clean. I was checking out a Joe Satriani preset earlier. There's some wild ones here. All of them are called Johnzilla. But if you think this is strictly a amp snobby type pack, there's stuff like this in here as well. This is using the Reverb clone. Beautiful. I love this sound. And you can see it's using a ton of that harmonic trem. What else do we have? Johnzilla 4. Let's see what 2 sounds like. Really like blown out sounds, wild sounds. Then we have, I don't know if you can see it on this recording, but Ariel Posen. I mean, I love to start from the presets just because I know I'm going to get something fun right out of the box, and I know it's just going to be easy for me to get ideas from some of these. This one's called Prophet Talker. bridge pickup here. It's a little bit more expressive, kind of opens up that filter a little bit more. But it's a lot of fun, right? I mean, like, presets are great. I think they give you a lot of great ideas, but it is very cool to kind of just start from these and build, you know, what fits for your own song, for your own playing. Very cool. Let's check out some of the neural stuff too. This one's called Rhodes Bell. Great sounds. I mean, you know, I just feel like this is going to be very versatile. So I'm very excited about it. This one's from Pete Thorne. Maybe let's go back to one more John Mayer. Lead 1, live room. I like to stop a little bit, you know, maybe play a couple chords to hear the room. And if you want to get some pretty wild stuff too, you could just, you know, send some more of the room to the plug. Let's check out one more. I'm just having too much fun with it. Let's try Ultra Clean Dub Delay. Like I said, this is my first hour or so with the plugin, really, so I'm just kind of getting to grips with it as well. But I think it is going to be a blast to play with. I'm going to learn a lot from it. If you like this and you want me to dive deeper, or you have any questions about anything on the plugin, just let me know. Leave a comment on the video, and I'll either reach out to you or I will do another video on it. I feel like I'm going to be making more than one video about this plugin. So thanks for watching. I hope you pick this up. Talk to you soon.